What's up everyone, it's Jackson here from Turbo Garage, and in this video we're going to be getting started on my new project car. This is my new project car. And welcome to the Subaru Liberty GX. This thing is a 2.2 litre 4-cylinder. It is paired with a fantastic automatic 4-8 transmission. It has seen some stuff, I won't lie to you. It was very cheap, it's very tired, but it's going to be very fun. The plans for this car are, well, obvious. Turbo it. What else are you going to do when you have a car like this? Your only option is to add in some boost. We're obviously not going to stick with this ride height because it's quite a land yacht. Throw away the disgusting wheels, but the budget unfortunately does not include getting rid of that auto. It's going to have to stay. We don't have time, we don't have money, it is staying auto. Let me run you through a few features of this absolute nugget of a car. Came with some awesome clear coat peel on the bonnet. Bit hard to see here, but there you go. So we've got a bit of weight reduction going on the front there. No paint, no problems. Inside here, we have electric brakes in case we want to tow a caravan. Why? I'm not sure. It's got no balls. If you're towing anything that needs electric brakes, you're in the wrong car. I'll also show you our awesome electric windows. Yep, that's doing something. I think it's come off the rail or something. It's not really going to be that much of a problem. We might get around to fixing it if we have time and if we can be bothered. But other than that, the car it's actually pretty nice. The interior, yep, it's there, it's good. It's not really desirable being a non-turbo grey interior. It's got about 285,000 Ks on the clock. Still original head unit, original speakers. I'll pop the bonnet for you now as well, and we can have a look in there. Here it is, underneath the bonnet. As I said earlier, we have a 2.2 litre 4-cylinder boxer motor. Single overhead cam, naturally aspirated. These things from the factory made 100 kilowatts at the flywheel. I don't think this thing is making anywhere near that today, but hopefully with some assistance of a turbo, we might get pretty close. Now, I'm not sure if you can tell on video, but that headlight on the driver's side is sitting pretty wonky. Didn't really pick up on this until we got the car home, but it's been in a pretty big wreck at some point. Even the horns have been replaced, so quite concerning. There are some holes in the car just here, as you can see. So someone's had a pretty hard hit, but we won't really know the extent of the damage until we get the front bumper off to fit that huge intercooler that's going to be going on here. This thing's going to be a lot of fun. Now let's get it into the garage, or into the driveway at least, and we'll get cracking on it. Alright guys, we've got the car in the driveway and now it's time to get stuck into some mods. I know we mentioned we were going to turbo this thing, that is the plan, but firstly we need to focus on the appearance because this thing is just straight up ugly. It rides too high, the suspension's too bouncy, the wheels look tacky. We've got to sort that stuff out. So let's show you the solution. This right here is an adjustable coilover, and they're one of the most common mods that people do to cars. They allow you to adjust your ride height and the stiffness of your suspension, which is something a lot of people like to do. These ones here are made by HKS, which is probably my favourite brand in the whole world. They're very old, they're pretty tired, they're a bit knocky, but as you guys know, this is a budget build, so they'll have to do. Let's get the car up on jack stand so we can start throwing them in. It's a good idea to loosen any wheel nuts before you jack the car up. That way it can hold itself against the ground so you're not trying to fight it in the air. Make sure you're familiar with your car's safe jacking point and spots for stands before you do any of this work. A wobble test and we're good to go. We're going to focus on the front first, then move our way over to the back. Let's strip these wheels off so we can get a look at the struts. Alright, now that the wheel's off, we can get a better look at what we're doing. We've got 2 bolts here at the bottom and then 3 studs at the top which are holding the strut in. This is known as a traditional McPherson strut. So once we undo these 2 here, remove our brake line, which you can use a pair of pliers for, and undo these 3, the strut will come out. These can often be really tight, especially if you're working on an older car like this. They've got 30 years of road grime and car wear and just dirt in general built up on them. So a breaker bar can help a lot with these. Make sure you keep track of where each washer and nut goes, just to make sure you don't mix anything up and so it all goes back together the same. I usually just grab the clip on the back here and then lever it out. It's the easiest way to get it off. Now just undo these top 3 nuts and we're good to go. And it's out. Now it's time to do the reverse and throw the coilover in. Be careful not to go too tight on these studs because they can snap. Now with the coilover mounted at the top, you can already see a huge difference on the ride height. This is where it was actually sitting with the factory strut still bolted in. Look at that drop already. It's going to be insane. A lot of the time when I do this, I get a jack to support the hub while I get it into the strut just to make things a little bit easier. So let's give that a crack. Now I'm going to spin the camber bolt to try and get it exactly where I want it to sit. Maximum camber, of course. And although these little guns are good, it's great to make sure everything's nice and hand tight. And just like that, our first coilover's on the car. Bang. Now that the car's got the coilovers in, it's time to put some wheels on and put it back on the ground. But I don't think we should be putting these standard steelies back on. I think they're pretty gross. So instead we're going to be going with some Rays versus Turismos. I've had these wheels for a couple of years. I've already had them on 2 cars. I think they look amazing, so let's throw them on. Now the factory wheel nuts don't fit these wheels, so I've got these just from Autobarn. They do the job, they're great value for money. I think they look great. Way better already. I'll throw the other one on and then we can put it on the ground. Oh my god. Doesn't even look like the same car anymore. That is worlds apart. I can't believe how much better that looks. Now obviously I'm going to tighten up these wheel nuts now that it's on the ground, because the gun probably isn't strong enough to make sure they're safe. And then once I've done that, I'll move on to the rear end. That seriously looks so much better, I can't believe it. Now for the most part, doing the rear on these is essentially the same thing. Well, it's exactly the same thing. You got the 2 big bolts down the bottom and the 3 up the top. The only difference is, rather than being in the engine bay, it's underneath these speaker covers. So you open the speaker cover, and there they are. But rather than showing you guys the same thing twice, I figured I may as well just time lapse this, make it quick and easy, then we can get into some better mods. Time to throw in the last one. Okay, now that we've finally got all 4 wheels and all 4 coilovers in, it's time to put this car on the ground and see how it really looks. Yeah. Oh my god. Do have a bit of a flat. This is unreal. So much better. Quick walk around of how it looks now. Oh my god. That is night and day already. And we're not even done yet. Like, this is just the start. I do have a bit of a flat up the back there. Note to self, make sure your tyres are pumped up before you put them on the car. I might just take that off later and run down to the servo and pump it up, but in the meantime, this is looking so much better, it's not even funny. We've made such an overall improvement to the look of the car, but I think we can go a little bit further, and I think the next step would be to get rid of these taillights. They're pretty gross, the Australian taillights. The Legacies did come with a different set. There we go. They are so much nicer. I do have a spare set laying around, so why don't we throw them on and improve the look of this thing even more. Now, removing the taillights in these vehicles is pretty easy. You just take off this trim piece here, then in the back you'll see these little nuts. I think there's 2 or 3, maybe just 2. I can't remember, it's been a while. But yeah, you just undo those and rip the taillight off, and then you can slap on the other one. Let's have a crack. These can be pretty stubborn to remove at the best of times, especially when the glue holding these taillights on is 30 years old, so it's going to take a bit of a pull to get them off. so much nicer. Oh yes. This thing just keeps getting better and better and better. The rear end looks pretty much complete now. I think there's only one last thing to do with the exterior, and that's over on the front. I think that looks so much better. It's so much nicer than the factory grille, especially the way it was painted. It just looked horrible. But if you guys don't like it, just let me know. You know, I've got a few options here that we can try out. We can throw on something different, or we can even throw the other one back on if you preferred it. So just let me know in the comments below what you think of the new grille. Also, let me know what you think of the wheels and suspension, as well as the taillights. I think it just updates the look of the whole car overall. I think it's now looking much nicer, a lot less rattier, but you know, still not perfect, still got a bit of patina about it, and I love it. Now that I'm happy with the exterior, I think it's looking pretty good. We can get started on the interior of the car. First up, let's give it a vacuum to clean it up. So now that the interior is all cleaned up, it's time to throw in the parts. Over here, we have a GC8 WRX driver's seat. It does have some minor tears, but believe me, this is going to be far nicer and far more supportive, at least, than the factory seat that's in there. We also have a full set of legacy floor mats. I think they'll complement the interior really nicely. The other thing I was thinking about doing was I was going to replace the steering wheel with something aftermarket or even a factory legacy one. But I don't want to lose cruise control because I don't have any other Boss kit that has cruise control on it. So risk versus reward, I'm not sure. But let me know what you guys think, and if you want it changed, we'll change it in the next episode. Now luckily for us, these cars have the same chassis and floor pan as a WRX, a GC8. So all we have to do is unbolt this seat and the other one will bolt straight in. Now that the driver's seat's in, it's time to throw in some floor mats to complete the look. And look at that, we've got the bucket seat in, we've got our legacy floor mats. They're kind of hard to see. They look way better in the back. It just flows a lot better. Look at those. They really just complete the look of the car. And for now, I'm really happy with how it's looking. We've done coilovers, wheels, taillights, grille, driver's seat and floor mats, and it's kind of just transformed the whole car. It really doesn't even look like the same car, at least to me. I think it's been an amazing transformation and we've made a lot of really good progress on this thing. So that's where I'm going to leave it for today's episode. We've made a lot of really good progress on the car. It looks totally different. It's an awesome transformation, especially considering these are just a heap of parts I had laying around at home from previous cars. Really happy with how far it's come, and as promised, in the next episode we're going to start turbocharging this thing. So make sure you like and subscribe so you can keep updated, see when that's coming out. Leave a comment if you want. Any suggestions if you want the grille changed, steering wheel changed. Let's do it. Let me know what you guys want done to this car and we'll get started. Cheers.